Prime Minister Tony Blair found himself caught in an impossible dilemma regarding Sean Connery. His private advisers had warned him that granting the Bond actor a knighthood would strengthen the Scottish independence movement. Blair didn't want to offend the Queen, but he was equally afraid of disrupting the political balance in Scotland. Ultimately, the knighthood was delayed 3 years, and during this process, Britain's most famous actor became a pawn in a political chess game. But this story isn't just about delayed recognition. It's about how one man's political beliefs created a secret war between Westminster and Buckingham Palace, turning a simple honour into a constitutional crisis that would expose the hidden tensions at the heart of British democracy. If you've ever wondered how far politicians will go to silence dissent, subscribe now, because what happened to Sean Connery reveals the true cost of speaking truth to power. Sean Connery's transformation from celebrity supporter to political threat crystallized during the 1990s, when his advocacy for Scottish independence evolved from occasional public statements into sustained high-profile campaigning that directly challenged Westminster's authority. His appearances at Scottish National Party events drew massive crowds, lending the independence movement a glamour and international recognition that traditional politicians could never achieve. Sean's 1997 endorsement of the SNP during the general election campaign represented a watershed moment that sent shockwaves through the British political establishment. Standing alongside SNP candidates, he delivered speeches that articulated the case for independence with a passion and eloquence that resonated far beyond Scotland's borders. His status as an international icon meant that his political positions received coverage in American and European media, internationalizing what Westminster preferred to treat as a domestic issue. The impact of Sean's political activism extended beyond mere publicity. His financial contributions to the SNP and other independence-supporting organizations provided crucial resources during critical campaign periods. Government officials monitoring these donations grew increasingly concerned about the influence that one individual could wield over Scotland's political future. Internal memos from this period, later released under Freedom of Information requests, revealed the extent to which Sean's activities were being tracked and analysed by civil servants. Intelligence reports compiled during the late 1990s painted Sean as more than just a celebrity activist. They portrayed him as a strategic thinker whose political engagement posed a genuine threat to the Union. His ability to articulate complex constitutional arguments while maintaining his popular appeal made him uniquely dangerous in the eyes of political strategists who understood how celebrity influence could reshape public opinion on fundamental political questions. But Westminster was about to strike back in the most unexpected way. Dewar's appointment as Scotland's First Minister in 1999 positioned him as the crucial gatekeeper between Scottish aspirations and Westminster's strategic interests, but few understood the extent of his informal veto power over royal honours until Sean Connery's knighthood nomination forced this hidden mechanism into action. The initial nomination for Sean's knighthood arrived at Downing Street in early 1990, supported by a coalition of arts organisations, film industry representatives, and surprisingly, several Conservative MPs who recognised Sean's contribution to British cultural prestige. The recommendation followed standard procedures, highlighting Sean's charitable work, his role in promoting Scottish tourism, and his status as an international ambassador for British cinema. However, the nomination process stalled when it reached the informal consultation stage with Scottish political leaders. Dewar's office, officially maintaining neutrality on honours recommendations, privately communicated serious reservations about the timing and political implications of knighting someone so closely associated with the independence movement. His concerns weren't merely theoretical. Opinion polls suggested that Sean's political endorsements significantly influenced voter attitudes toward independence. The first veto occurred through bureaucratic channels rather than dramatic confrontation. Dewar's representatives suggested that the nomination required additional consideration given the approaching Scottish Parliament elections and the sensitive political climate. This delay tactic, while seemingly reasonable, effectively killed the 1999 nomination cycle for Sean's knighthood, pushing any decision into an uncertain future. Private communications between Dewar's office and Downing Street, later revealed through parliamentary inquiries, showed explicit concerns about rewarding political opposition with royal recognition. The Queen, initially unaware of these behind-the-scenes maneuverings, had been led to believe that Sean's nomination was progressing through normal channels. But Dewar's obstruction would soon face an unexpected challenge. Queen Elizabeth II's direct involvement in Sean Connery's knighthood controversy marked an unprecedented intervention in what was supposed to be a routine honours process, demonstrating how deeply the political manipulation had disturbed the normal constitutional relationship between monarch and government. Her decision to personally champion Sean's case emerged from growing suspicions that political considerations were improperly influencing royal prerogatives. The Queen's awareness of the political machinations began through informal channels. When prominent Scottish cultural figures privately expressed confusion about the delayed recognition for someone of Sean's international stature, her private conversations with arts administrators and film industry representatives revealed a pattern of political interference that contradicted the supposed independence of the honours system from partisan considerations. During a private meeting with Tony Blair in early 2000, the Queen raised Sean's case directly, expressing concern that political disagreements were being allowed to override merit-based recognition. Blair's evasive responses and continued delays prompted the Queen to take more assertive action, requesting detailed explanations for the prolonged consideration period that had stretched beyond normal timeframes. The Queen's position created constitutional tension because it forced confrontation between her ceremonial role and the government's political calculations. Her insistence that Sean's cultural contributions warranted recognition, regardless of his political views, challenged the informal system that allowed political considerations to influence honours decisions. Royal determination intensified when the Queen learned of Dewar's specific objections to Sean's knighthood. Her private response, conveyed through carefully worded communications with Scottish office officials, emphasised that royal honours should recognise achievement rather than reward political conformity. This position put enormous pressure on both Dewar and Blair to justify their continued obstruction. But Tony Blair faced his own impossible calculations. The knighthood ceremony at Holyrood Palace on July 5, 2000, unfolded with carefully choreographed precision, designed to emphasize Sean Connery's artistic achievements while minimizing opportunities for political interpretation. Yet the very location and circumstances of the event inevitably highlighted the political battles that had made this recognition so controversial. Sean's arrival at Holyrood Palace drew enormous crowds of Edinburgh residents who had followed his career since his early days as a working-class actor from their city's poorest neighbourhoods. The public enthusiasm demonstrated Sean's continued connection to his Scottish roots, despite decades of international fame, underlining exactly why government officials had worried about the political implications of royal recognition. The Queen's personal conduct during the ceremony conveyed unmistakable messages about royal determination to honour merit, regardless of political disagreement. Her warm interaction with Sean and extended private conversation after the formal sword-touching ritual demonstrated genuine royal appreciation for his achievements, contrasting sharply with the government's reluctant acceptance of his recognition. Sean's own demeanour during the ceremony reflected his awareness of the political significance of the moment. His dignified acceptance of the honour, combined with carefully worded public statements emphasising his pride in Scottish identity, maintained his political positions while respecting the ceremonial context. Dewar's conspicuous absence from Sean Connery's knighthood ceremony at Holyrood Palace sent powerful political messages about continuing government reservations regarding royal recognition for celebrities who challenged constitutional arrangements, demonstrating that official disapproval persisted even after royal determination had forced the ceremony to proceed. The First Minister's decision to schedule conflicting engagements during the ceremony required elaborate explanations from his office, which cited prior commitments and constitutional protocol as reasons for his absence. These official justifications fooled no one familiar with the political background, as Dewar's diary could easily have been arranged to accommodate such a significant royal event in Scotland's capital. The successful completion of Sean Connery's knighthood ceremony, despite sustained government opposition, established crucial precedents about royal independence from political interference. While simultaneously demonstrating the limits of governmental power, to prevent recognition for controversial figures, when the monarchy chose to assert its constitutional prerogatives. Immediate political reactions to the ceremony divided along predictable lines, with independent supporters celebrating Sean's recognition as validation of their movement's cultural legitimacy, while Unionists minimized the political significance and emphasized the purely artistic nature of royal honors. The knighthood precedent influenced subsequent royal honors decisions by establishing that political disagreement alone could not disqualify otherwise worthy candidates from recognition. Palace officials privately indicated that future controversial nominations would receive more careful consideration of their merit rather than automatic political vetting. Sean's post-ceremony behavior demonstrated his understanding of the delicate balance required to maintain royal recognition while continuing political advocacy. His subsequent public statements carefully separated appreciation for royal honor from criticism of government policy, showing sophisticated political awareness of the constitutional distinctions that had made his recognition possible. Sean Connery's political activities following his knighthood demonstrated that royal recognition had not moderated his independence advocacy, as government officials had privately hoped, but rather provided additional credibility and platform for challenging Westminster's authority over Scottish affairs, validating official concerns about the political implications of his ceremonial honour. The newly minted Sir Sean's first major political appearance after his knighthood occurred at the 2001 SNP conference, where his presence drew unprecedented media attention and international coverage for the independence movement. His speech, delivered with the added authority of royal recognition, articulated constitutional arguments with enhanced credibility that government officials found deeply concerning. The 3-year battle over Sean Connery's knighthood revealed fundamental tensions within British constitutional arrangements regarding the relationship between royal prerogative, democratic accountability, and political interference in supposedly merit-based recognition systems, creating precedents that would influence future conflicts between ceremonial tradition and political expediency. The precedent established by Sean's delayed but eventual recognition influenced subsequent royal honours decisions by demonstrating that sustained political opposition could not indefinitely prevent royal recognition for worthy candidates. Palace officials privately indicated that future controversial nominations would receive more aggressive royal support rather than deference to government political concerns. The 3-year battle over Sean Connery's knighthood illuminated enduring tensions within democratic societies about the relationship between celebrity influence, political advocacy, and institutional recognition, demonstrating how individual cases can become proxies for much larger constitutional and political conflicts. Sean's journey from political target to royal knight illustrated the complex calculations required when democratic governments confront celebrities who use their cultural influence to challenge official policies. His case established important precedents about the limits of political interference with ceremonial recognition, while highlighting ongoing questions about the appropriate role of public figures in constitutional debates. Sean Connery's transformation from draw-sleeping infant in Edinburgh's poorest neighbourhood to internationally recognised Knight of the Realm represented more than individual achievement. It embodied broader questions about identity, loyalty and belonging that continue to shape political discourse in Scotland and beyond. Sir Sean Connery died in 2020, 20 years after his delayed knighthood ceremony, having maintained both royal recognition and political independence throughout his remaining years. His life illustrated the possibility of combining respect for traditional institutions with advocacy for constitutional change, demonstrating that democracy required space for dignified disagreement, even about fundamental questions of national identity and political arrangements. Tony Blair's handling of Sean Connery's knighthood revealed the complex calculations required to maintain political control while managing constitutional relationships, royal expectations, and competing national interests within the framework of New Labour's broader constitutional reforms. His private deliberations during this period demonstrated how individual celebrity cases could become proxies for much larger political battles. Blair's advisers presented him with detailed analyses of how Sean's knighthood might affect Scottish political dynamics during a crucial period for the devolution settlement. Their research suggested that royal recognition would significantly enhance Sean's credibility as a political advocate, potentially translating into increased support for independence arguments among previously uncommitted voters. Internal Labour Party polling conducted during 2000 showed that Sean's political endorsements had measurable impact on Scottish voting patterns, particularly among working-class voters who might otherwise support Labour. Blair's political strategists argued that knighting Sean would essentially provide royal endorsement for the independence movement, creating a precedent that could encourage other celebrities to engage in separatist politics. Blair's solution involved delicate negotiations with both the Queen and Donald Dewar, seeking a compromise that would satisfy royal wishes while minimizing political damage. His private communications during this period revealed genuine respect for the Queen's position, combined with practical concerns about electoral consequences in Scotland. But the real battle was just beginning. Donald Dewar's second intervention in Sean Connery's knighthood process occurred in late 2000, just as royal pressure had seemingly resolved the political obstacles, demonstrating that institutional resistance could persist even when direct royal advocacy had supposedly settled the matter. This second veto revealed the depth of official concern about Sean's political influence. The renewed obstruction emerged through technical objections, rather than outright political opposition. Dewar's office raised procedural questions about the proposed ceremony, suggesting that protocol issues required additional consultation and planning time. These seemingly bureaucratic concerns masked deeper political calculations about timing and public messaging around the knighthood announcement. Dewar's strategy during this second intervention focused on delaying the ceremony until after crucial Scottish Parliament business had concluded, particularly legislation affecting Scotland's fiscal relationship with Westminster. His advisers argued privately that Sean's knighthood should not occur while politically sensitive debates were active, as royal recognition might be interpreted as commentary on pending constitutional issues. The institutional resistance culminated in a series of private meetings between Dewar, Blair, and senior civil servants designed to find face-saving solutions that would address royal expectations while minimizing political risks. These discussions, conducted entirely outside public view, demonstrated how supposedly independent honours decisions were actually subject to extensive political manipulation. But the Queen had run out of patience. The constitutional crisis surrounding Sean Connery's knighthood reached its peak in early 2001, when Queen Elizabeth II's patience with government delays finally exhausted, leading to an unprecedented direct confrontation between royal prerogative and political expediency that threatened to expose fundamental contradictions within Britain's constitutional arrangements. The Queen's frustration manifested through increasingly direct communications with Downing Street that abandoned the usual diplomatic language characterizing royal government relations. Her private secretary's correspondence during this period employed uncharacteristically sharp language about government interference with royal honours, suggesting that continued delays would force public examination of the relationship between political considerations and merit-based recognition. The crisis deepened when the Queen indicated her willingness to proceed with Sean's knighthood ceremony, regardless of government advice, effectively threatening to expose the political manipulation that had delayed his recognition. This royal ultimatum forced Blair and Dewar to choose between continuing their obstruction and risking public constitutional confrontation or accepting defeat in their efforts to prevent Sean's recognition. The resolution would require unprecedented compromise. The eventual resolution of Sean Connery's knighthood controversy, through a specially arranged ceremony at Holyrood Palace, represented an unprecedented constitutional compromise that satisfied royal authority while acknowledging Scottish political sensitivities, creating a unique precedent for handling politically controversial honours. The decision to hold the ceremony at Holyrood rather than Buckingham Palace emerged from extensive negotiations between palace officials, Scottish office representatives, and Downing Street strategists seeking to minimise political controversy while honouring royal commitments. This location choice acknowledged Sean's Scottish identity while keeping the ceremony within royal control rather than government oversight. The guest list for the ceremony became a matter of intense negotiation, with political considerations determining which officials would attend and which would find convenient reasons to be elsewhere. Donald Dewar's decision to absent himself from the ceremony spoke volumes about the continuing political tensions surrounding Sean's recognition, while the Queen's personal attendance demonstrated royal determination to honour her commitments despite government reservations.